Hey guys, welcome back to the Skills with Arlo channel. This week we'll be learning how to make a pen roll like this one. So this is a prototype that I've already made, and so we're going to be trying to improve upon it and learn how to make a leather one, and also learn how to use the sewing machine, which will help us with the future project. So the pen holder in question, this one holds 8 pens. The one I'll be making will hold 7, and it has this little pocket where you can put things such as more ink cartridges and so on. First step for this will of course be to cut out the leather that we want. And so I use this little pizza roller thing and a ruler to make sure I get the straight lines that I need. And so I've measured it out all based on my previous model, and so now we're just cutting out our nice big rectangle. So now that we have our rectangle, we can measure it out and make sure it's looking right. And so now I'm going to be making lines to show where I'm going to be sewing for each pen pocket that we need to make. I decided that I would make the outsides of the pen case hand stitch with a thicker yarn, and then the insides I would do with the sewing machine. And so for leather you have to punch holes before you can actually sew it because it's too thick to simply stick a needle through by hand. So that's what I'm doing right now. Hand sewing is very tedious and takes a long time, so I didn't film it. So here's the finished product of the first side. I decided to do a stitch that would go around the outside, and I think it turned out pretty nicely. And then I did the other side too, and now we have a big envelope. So I figured out how to use what's called a snap. And one here. And it's not perfect. It's what So now we are on to the sewing part, and this is my first time ever using this sewing machine. And so we found some thread that matched the wider thread and put it onto the smaller spool while also keeping some on the big spool. So after some instruction from my dad, I was able to do a few lines of the inside part, and so the first ones didn't come out too nicely, but they got better over time. And I figured out some strategies that really helped me. For instance, in this first clip I'm going extremely fast, but it was much better to actually go slow the leather as it gave a much cleaner stitch. So here are my first 2 stitches, and you can see that they're not great, and so here's one of my last stitches, and you can tell it's a lot better when it's done. Now that the stitching was done and they got progressively better over time, it was time to do some cutting on the top so that it rolls more nicely. And so I made some lines and some cuts and then fashioned a nice little clip-on. And there we go. We have our 7-pen roll. It holds the pens, it folds up nicely, and I'm pretty happy with it. So that's going to be all for this week. Thank you for watching. Make sure to like and subscribe and leave ideas in the comments below. Thanks.